Hi all, this is Rex King. In all of my spiritual studies through the last few years after separating myself from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and Jehovah's Witnesses, I found no evidence of Jehovah's Witnesses as an organization or its predecessors in any way, shape, or form involved with any positive spiritual activity whatsoever. I'm going to relate the one real connection that I found with the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society in its early years with anyone of any true merit in the spiritual world. And that man's name was Benjamin Wilson. Benjamin Wilson was a Bible scholar. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society somehow took possession. I don't know all the details because I haven't taken the time to research all the details, but I have proof I have the documents that basically show what the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society did. What they did is they took possession of this man's life work as a Bible scholar, the diaglot, the emphatic diaglot. And then in its early publication, they insulted Benjamin Wilson thoroughly because they interpreted John 1:1 different than him, and he refused to give up his scholarly knowledge to accept the bullying and maligning of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, forcing them through the governing body, trying to force him to believe what they believe, even though he knew it was wrong, period. Now, whether Benjamin Wilson was correct or not, that's for you to decide. But they thoroughly humiliated him as a Bible scholar in the eyes of all of Jehovah's Witnesses then. And they took his work, and then they created something that they somehow became Bible scholars, maligning another man, destroying his reputation, and then taking his work, changing a couple of words and saying, we are Bible scholars and we're going to write the New World Translation of the Bible based on our scholarly knowledge that we stole from another man. Now, if that's not black magic, if that's not wickedness, but are they doing it today? 1985. Still riding on it. I bet they can't even find the evidence in their files of what they did to that man. I have the evidence in my files if anybody wants to see it. I'm not going to publish it here to give the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society the ability to produce them all of a sudden from my evidence. If they want to somehow discredit what I've said in this video by standing up for a dead man, probably just a simple man who spent his whole life studying the Bible, studying so that he could perfect something that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society would have been able to use if they actually respected the man that wrote it. Do you think Jehovah is going to bless an organization that did this to his son that spent his life creating this document, and then this organization steal it from him, take credit for it, and then create it into something that was never meant to be? You think Jesus is going to be happy with that? That's what the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is today. The same organization that did that to this man and is taking credit for a work they do not deserve whatsoever. They think they take credit for a position that they do not have. That position is held by others on earth today, and it's not them, and they are in the way, and they need to get out of it. Because if they don't get out of the way, this organization is going to be completely crushed by a spirit they have no understanding whatsoever is. To malign this. Where do you think this man is today? The man that wrote this book spent his whole life writing the Bible, the Christian dialogue in English in a way that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society could exploit after destroying his reputation first. Yeah, and I spent better part of my life trying to figure this all out. How could God not be happy with this organization for some reason? An organization that chooses to believe in the devil. Negativity, black magic. Force somebody to do it your way or destroy them. Force them to do it your way or destroy them, and then steal everything they did in their life and make it look like it was yours. Isn't that the mode of operandus of a lot of people on earth right now? Well, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is one of them, unfortunately. It can be fixed, though, because the spirit in it has been correct for the most part. The men that did this and the men in control right now that are promoting this need to be brought to their senses. And that Bible that they think they've perfected, recognize that they're actually ignorant as rocks with regard to any true understanding of a Bible manuscript in any way, shape, or form. And until they can admit that publicly, what I've just done, accept the fact that they have become something that they never wanted to become, they inherited this. Like I said, the nation of Israel went through this cycle where they did good and they got off track, and then someone comes along and helps them to recognize what the few little things they need to fix, and then everything is good again. They can walk right into paradise. But they actually have to take the discipline and, what happened to Saul because Saul didn't take the discipline properly? What happened to him? In reality, brothers, we're going through a scenario similar to David and Goliath in the Bible. Take the time to pull up the scriptures. I think it's Samuel. I pulled it up. It's 1 Samuel chapter 17 is the area. I just actually started to read the scriptures. But if you read those scriptures, this is a perfect scenario. Saul is the governing body. Goliath is Satan, the devil, okay? Jonathan is the other sheep, and the nation of Israel is the other sheep, okay? The governing body are clueless as how to deal with Goliath. They're stuck on the plains of Dura, okay? And here this young shepherd boy from the flock of the other sheep who's been out in the field fighting lions and tigers and bears for Jehovah has come back to kill Goliath. And the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society says, no, you cannot kill Goliath. We will not let you. Well, the fact of the matter is, I went ahead and got my rocks, which are all these videos on this site, and I put them in my slingshot, the YouTube platform, and I shot him, and I hit the devil right in the head, right between the eyes, because that's where all these videos have been toward. Not the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, not the governing body. No, Not toward them. It's been toward the devil, every one of them. I humiliated the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and the governing body because they believe in the devil and they're promoting the devil. So when I humiliated and killed the devil, using them as an example, I basically killed the devil for everyone. I've let everyone know this game that's being played on the earth right now, this devil game. Well, anyway, these videos that I've done has put a rock right between the eyes of Goliath, and Goliath has fallen. In the last video, which I proved beyond a doubt that in this one, that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is basically practicing black magic on people, destroying people's lives through black magic, which is basically casting spells on someone. Benjamin Wilson, I'm casting a spell on you. If you don't do what I say, if you don't say that you were wrong when you wrote your book and change it to make it be what I want it to be, I am going to destroy your reputation without a fact. Now, if that's not witchcraft, what is it? And that's what they did to this man. And guess what? They're doing it today to people all over the world. And you know what? Some of those people don't just go off quietly like Benjamin Wilson and not make any waves because he's a respectable man and he's not going to do that to anybody. No, that's what he did. A lot of people, they do something else. And you can't ask them because they're not here anymore. And exactly what caused them to finally, jump off the bridge. Anyway, I hope that these rocks, these stones that struck Satan, the devil, that whatever people want it to become in their head, to recognize what it is, that it's black magic on mankind, and I've destroyed that black magic. And the teachers of the black magician is this: the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Biden is probably the only man on earth right now that could lead mankind out of this darkness through his presidency and leadership of the United States. And half the country are being told that he is bad. My God, if that's not black magic, what is it? On purpose telling somebody that's good is bad, and this other man that can't probably keep his bladder without help because he seems to need someone else to manipulate the system around him so he can stay out of trouble. The spider. And yet somehow they've been fooled into thinking that thing, that ignorant, imaginary thing that they've been convinced is real should be in charge. It's the most pathetic thing in the whole world. Anyway, I'm just going to stop here. I didn't mean for this to go long. I just wanted to help everybody to recognize that, look, I'm not playing games here. I'm trying to help not only the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, but the world to recognize this fool's game that's being played on mankind. The old saying, you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Well, this game is about to take us into World War III if we're not careful. At least that's what they think. But those in charge know better, okay? But the problem is we got to let you kids play it out. And it's kind of, hurtful on mankind overall. And to some extent, the parents have to finally say, hey, look, the unruly children cannot hurt the good children or the ruly children anymore. And we have to put a stop to it. And that's what I'm doing now. And the stop comes through people understanding and recognizing what's happening. See, a person can only understand the world up to their level of consciousness. The part that they don't understand is above their level of consciousness. The reason why mankind has been able to, let's just stick with the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and Jehovah's Witnesses. See, the reason why mankind and so many people have been able to get involved in this and be so committed to it, because the sophistication of the organization, the logic of it, was actually above the logic of the people in it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the people even at the top understood what happened or what became of the organization from the day one till today, okay, its path of life. Because different people were in charge at the top for different reasons. But we have to appreciate that everything is God, okay? The whole world is God. And so it's a growth process that mankind is going through. And so now mankind, whenever Watchtower Bible and Tract Society or organizations like that come around, that way of that mental tricks of sophistication, that black magic of thought, if you want to put it in that frame, to where you get trapped into something that's not really helpful for you. You think it is, you spend a lot of energy in it, but in the long run, it's not really helping you at all. It's helping somebody else. And it may be actually doing the opposite of what you want. Like creating a world of fascism is the last thing we want. Now, for some reason, people think we need a Jesus at the top in charge ruling things, but that's not correct at all. What we need is a world of Jesuses, every man and woman, adult on earth being the best they can be, running the show. The last thing we want is one stupid guy in charge running the show. And that's, for some reason, what the Christian mentality has become, and it's quite stupid. Okay? It's quite stupid. I mean, look, would you rather have somebody else telling you how to live your life, or you want to live your life yourself? Well, pick. You can't have both. And if you want a Donald Trump or a Biden in charge, then you get that, okay? But you're going to get the quality of person in charge that you put in charge, okay? What do you want in the future? Do you want someone like a Biden that so far he's done all sorts of wonderful things in office to make things better, despite being handed a pile of shit to start with? I mean, in the middle of a pandemic, a president that would not refuse to accept reality for reality, just refused to, like the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, refused to affect, that you can't make killing people love no matter how much you put lipstick on it. You just can't. You can't put praying to kill 99.5% of the people on earth, at least, God's will. You just can't. You can paint that with lipstick all you want. You can rephrase it through a devil. You can refuse. It's not love. It's not loving your neighbor as yourself. Period. And so it has to be a faulty interpretation of the Bible to interpret a devil. It has to be. Well, if that's a faulty interpretation of the Bible, what is the correct interpretation? Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, with its governing body, if you're so smart, I hope you figured out that there's no way in the world you can continue to ride the back of the devil, okay? You can't do that anymore. It's done, okay? That original sin, that original misconception that's been riding, that this whole world has been troubled with for the last 6,000 years is dead, okay? Rex King killed it. So if you guys want to continue to exist, you better figure out a new game. Because this video's never come down, ever, okay? And look, hopefully I've done them enough to where they're going to become a cult classic, okay? Where everybody just enjoys watching them just because they know all the pain and suffering that this organization has done on others. And I think there's a German word for it, Freudenschreider or something. I can't remember exactly what it is. But the point is that it would be well deserved. When a man can see how he spent his life doing something that he finally come to realize he could conquer. When Jesus said, "The devil has no hold on me," I know exactly what he meant. Because I know the devil doesn't exist at all. Because I and the Father are one. And my Father don't do stuff like that. He don't, how does the scripture say that? My bad. He doesn't tempt anybody in any way. Why? Because he didn't create a devil. So if you believe in the devil and you think there's one that's out there for some reason, why? Who told you that? Have you seen anything in your life that you feel like, oh, well, there's this and that? I know. All I can tell you is I have studied pretty much everything, okay? To the extent necessary to where I can confidently say, look, just what does the scripture say? Trust in Jehovah with all your heart and do not lean upon your own understanding. And he himself will see to it that everything's going to be okay. It's going to all work out, okay? But we have to face reality, though. You have to cooperate. Just like a child that's growing up, a pestilent child, eventually, if the parent just doesn't come around, and the parent does get the stick out, and has to give them a whopping. And that's really what this is. This is that whopping. The Bible says that, Jehovah disciplines those that he loves. Well, he loves those that have been doing things like the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society has been doing. But on the other hand, it's got some habits that it has to lose. And practicing black magic is one of them, period. It can't be projecting bad anywhere, ever. In fact, it needs to stop immediately. Hopefully before I have to do another video, because I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't. I think this is enough. So anyway, let me make sure I finish that story about in the Bible about Samson and not Samson. This one is David and Goliath. Well, anyway, basically what I see here is Rex King is basically come up for some reason. Instead of if the governing body had been cooperating, what they would have done was said, okay, you say there's no devil, prove it to me, okay? And then what I would have done is sat down in an audience of some respected brothers, and I would have explained all the stuff that I explained on these videos in such a way that they would have been able to reason through it and begin to say, hey, look, maybe Rex has something, and they could figure this out. But the fact of the matter is the way the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, through its governing body, operates, it's impossible to do such a thing, period. Basically, they've taught that nobody but them has any relationship with God other than through them. So it's kind of hard to talk to somebody that's already in first place with God that, seems to really pride themselves on it and don't want anybody else to forget it. Well, anyway, it's a bad, like King Saul, he had a bad attitude, but he could have recovered. I mean, we know that. We've all been taught that. He could have recovered, but in the long run, he didn't, But who did recover? Jonathan always had a relationship with David. In fact, Jonathan, although he died before David took office, he would have supported David 100%, and that's, of course, the great crowd. They would have supported. And it's not, don't get me wrong, don't inject. See, what it is, Jehovah's Witnesses have been taught to inject personalities in people, okay? I'm not talking about me. I mean, we're talking about Jesus, the real Jesus. In other words, you're going to have a relationship with God because you are on a path of having a perfect relationship with God like Jesus has. Why? Because you've become Christ-like. And Jehovah's Witnesses are, as a rule, Christ-like people. They've been taught some bad things. I mean, imagine smoking, imagine right now, for some reason, Jehovah's Witnesses were never taught not to smoke, okay? And all of a sudden, the governing body, reads the scripture in the Bible that no doubt about it says you need to not smoke, okay? Well, what do you think Jehovah's Witnesses would do? They would stop smoking, every one of them, man. They would go cold turkey. They'd pride themselves how fast they stop, okay? In fact, I had a witness told me, in fact, he was a circuit over to it. He said he jumped through a plate glass window for Jesus, okay? Well, if you would jump through a plate glass window for Jesus, okay? All I can say is, would you be willing to give up the devil for Jesus? That's my question. Would you be willing to give up the devil for Jesus? Well, look, I don't know if I could beat that, so let me leave that thought with everyone. Will you be willing to give up the devil for Jesus? And with that, please, I want to encourage everyone to read these, to listen to all these videos through and enjoy them. I did them this way because it's impossible for people to take time to read anymore. In fact, even I did some audios at first, and it's obvious people need to see video. And in such a way that's there's a blank screen behind me. You know why? It's because so far, this is any real reply I've gotten from anyone and any authority in the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society for every video that I put up here. Now, a long time ago in these videos, I actually challenged them. I said, look, I'm a brother in good standing in the organization. Unless they've done something I'm not aware of, because nobody's aware or made me aware of anything different. And there's no reason for me to feel that I should be anything but a good standing brother in my Father's house. And so now in this challenge, I said, hey, look, brothers, if there's something that I put in here that's not correct in some way, y'all need to let me know. Y'all need to come sit down with me, because I would like to clear any misconceptions up. We want to make sure that everything we teach from the Bible is accurate and it's in harmony with Jesus. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Is that what we're teaching or not? Like anything I've said in any one of these videos in any way, shape, or form, while at the same time destroying the devil. If anything on here is unloving in any way, shape, or form, or untruthful in any of these videos that I've done, please post it and make me aware of it. I assure you. And I'm pretty sure I've got it set up where people can post comments. I've gotten some from some people, but not very many. I don't know, what to say other than, all you can do is bring a horse to water, but you can't make them eat. You can't make them drink. You can just show them, the best way. You can open the gate, but you can't let them. You can't make them go into the pasture and eat grass. You just run around and have fun, live a life of paradise versus being stuck in an infinite loop of black magic.